So this really won't be a very long video. What I'll be doing is I'm going to add the base colors for the main part of the building. And I say base color simply because we're going to be adding the decals or slash wall signs and the other details. Plus, there'll be a lot of weathering that'll go on. So the first color that'll go on, I'm using a Craft Smart. This is pretty cheap from Hobby Lobby, I believe. I don't know, $1.50, $1.99. And it doesn't take much to do the coats. And it's really simple to do. They say this is a navy blue, but I don't think it's quite dark enough for that. I've already primed this with flat white. Now, and sometimes in this case, it takes 2 coats, which it looks like it's going to need 2 coats in this case. And that's not a problem because you can always add. It's a little hard to take away, but when you add, it's pretty simple. Now the corners here are going to be covered with corner pieces. So a little bit of missed spots or a little bit of extra paint on the corners here is not going to hurt anything because they're going to be covered up with the corner pieces. And I just apply it liberally going. Now this does have the siding work is imprinted into the basswood. So I try to use the paintbrush and go in the direction of that pressed in siding on the basswood. And instead of going against it, and it'll give it an overall much better look. And we just continue on. Now, that little bit was done with 1 drop of paint. But since I've got this other 2 sides to go, I'm going to add a little bit extra down here. And as we go along, I'll get into how this is weathered. But that won't be for quite a little while because I have to put on the signage that'll go on the side of the buildings and then do the actual weathering over the signage so that it kind of matches the building and looks like it's been there for the age of the building that I'll be looking for. This is going to be about a 1940s, early 50s look. And here we are on the big side. This is pretty nice because this big side gives you plenty of room for extra signage, extra little details you might want to add. You could probably hang a light from it if you wanted to. I doubt I'll be doing that. The LEDs for this one should be here. Now today is Wednesday. They might be here by the end of the week. And of course, that's a whole other ball of wax that I'll do a kind of a tutorial video on that. So we've almost got this first coat done on this. And what I'll do when I'm done here is I will let this dry before adding the second coat. Even though this looks like it's pretty close to being ready to go on, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll add that after the video because I want to get on to this other part. And this is the other good thing about using these water base is cleaning them up with water instead of using the chemical solvents that you have to use with enamels. So for the front facade, and that's this piece here, I'm going to start with another acrylic, and this is called Fog Gray. And again, we just add some. I just use a little piece of cardboard from a box for a palette. And we apply this. Again, this has already been primed. And the acrylic paints have a tendency of smoothing themselves out after you put them on. And even at that, with the signage that goes on and the other small details and the weathering, you know, it may look like a mistake, but sometimes those mistakes turn out to be beneficial to the end product. I mean, unless it's an obvious bad thing. But with the paints, it's not too much of an issue. And if you get this on your fingers or whatever, it washes off with soap and water. So you're not using turpentine or anything like that to clean yourself up afterwards. I've had people say that, oh, it's a childish hobby. Only little kids do that. Well, when you get up into this type of thing, it becomes a whole different ball of wax. Because what you're striving for is you want to get it as realistic looking as possible. And I've been doing this for many, many years. And anybody that's been doing this in the hobby for any length of time will tell you flat out that there is absolutely no such thing as a perfect model. That's what you strive for, and that's what you look to attain. But there's always going to be a flaw someplace. But the person you should be concerned about satisfying is yourself. I find it relaxing and enjoyable. And, you know, it kind of just when you start looking at stuff to get it done, you kind of feel good that it's looking good. So these are the windows. Now on the larger windows, like this one, this is a larger window. I'll use that piece of clear plastic from the box opening video for the back side of that. But for the smaller windows like this one, I'll be using a technique that I'll show later. I'm not going to give it away just yet because that would take the kind of fun out of it, wouldn't it? And this smaller window, I use the same technique. I won't use the clear plastic on these because frankly, I don't think it looks that good. And I always do something, even with the clear plastic, to give it a fog type effect or whatever. But the trick that I use with the smaller windows really comes out looking nice in the end. It's a lot easier to add a little bit of color to the back if you want to add a little orange or red to make it look like um, there's something going on behind the scenes. You can use a clear water-based color. So we've got these grays painted, and then I'll be doing the second coat of this as soon as this is dry. And then we'll continue on forward. I have already primed the cast metal parts, so a video on those will be forthcoming. That's the motorcycles and some of the smaller details, uh, pieces that'll go in the junkyard. The 3 motorcycles, 1 with a sidecar, and those will be up and coming soon. So I hope you enjoy this video. Leave some comments for me. I'll be happy to answer them. If you got any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Any suggestions, I'd appreciate it. And you guys have a good day.